Call me Dakota, because I be fit.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host.
Are you ready?
Kyle Gagliardi.
The face that runs the place.
Jim Tucker. And Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and one of my co-hosts this evening is my good friend, Erica Marini. Erica, how are you doing?
It's me. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I just got done doing another show with our good friend Steve from SCW, the wrestling channel. So go ahead and check that out. We talked about all out predictions for about 2 hours. But today we are here to talk about two things going on this week, and two of the three. Or if you want to include GCW, there's more than three. We got
it's four total. Four things this week.
Five, because there's shows Friday and Saturday.
Well, and a special boy.
If you want to be specific, well, the special boy you might be alluding to is below us, joining us for his 21st birthday. I don't know. I can't think of a better way to celebrate your 21st and come on a wrestling podcast. Ian Garvalia is joining us. Ian, how you doing?
Hey, I'm just happy to be here. I couldn't think of a better way. I might be the first in history to celebrate their 21st birthday on a wrestling podcast. I want someone to prove me wrong, but I don't think that has ever happened before.
If that's true, you are definitely a pioneer, my friend. And happy 21st to you.
Yes.
I got this shot right here of some Casa del Sol tequila. Get yourself your very first beer you ever had in your life, Ian, because we know you didn't drink before that.
Ever.
Erica, cheers to Ian. Happy 21st.
Cheers. Happy birthday, Ian.
I'm not a big tequila guy, so that was tough. But hey, we're doing it for the fans. We got some comments trickling in here. Dirk Vogus in the house. He's saying, "Wow, Erica moved up to the top row."
Thanks for noticing. Yeah, you're right. Right? Making moves, Mr. Vogus. Thanks.
Why do you keep adding a K to her name? Who are we talking about?
Just
what's he talking about?
Erica's Erica.
And happy birthday, King, from Ryan Vogus in the chat. Ian, you're notoriously known for being just an AEW guy, but you decided you're going to hang out with us for the whole show. Have you kept up at all with anything going on in WWE recently?
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. No, besides the stuff that gets to the Twitter mainstream, no. I did see the Rollins and Matt Riddle little exchange with cursing, and I loved every single second of it, and it's kind of getting me to want to go back.
Yeah, and it's funny you say Matt Riddle. He's got his full name back, Erica.
He has his full name back and then some. Matt Riddle is on Twitter. Have you seen any of that?
No, what are you
he has
alluding to?
He has an ex that's been, if you go back, it's for some time, she's been like posting screenshots, and I will tell you it's scandalous. I will say it's not safe for work.
I think Ian and I have seen it. Referee Jeremy Tillema shared that information with us. Friend of the pod indeed. He was on a couple podcasts ago, but yeah, we saw those screenshots of text that he was sending around 5 a.m. in the morning. So Matt Riddle is wilding out right now. And
you know what? Live and let live. He's not hurting me.
No, he's not. And he's going to have a match here at WWE Clash at the Castle, which we will get into. But before we get into all that good stuff, we got to remind the listeners that we got a sale going on this weekend, people. 15% off if you use code ALLOUT. No spaces or anything, just ALLOUT. Go ahead and get your some merch at the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. Ian, if you had to pick one item on that website right now to grab for yourself, which one would you snag?
Oh, there are so many selections, but I would go with the Bryan Danielson appreciation shirt. Like I've said before, it is very clean. If you're looking for a shirt to drink out with on your 21st birthday, perhaps, that is the shirt to grab. Nice little neutral color scheme. I love it. I'm gonna be picking it up soon. I've said it before, but I'm going to pick it up soon as the money agrees with me.
Yeah, speaking of money, you still owe me for All Out tickets, but
Okay.
I know it's his birthday. I paid for his GCW ticket on Friday, which we will be the second row for. They're doing a show with Black Label Pro, a local independent company here that's based out of Crown Point, Indiana. That's on Friday. We decided to get GA tickets Saturday night to GCW War Games. Erica, you've done GA before at GCW events, and you said it's worth the price of admission, right?
It's worth it. As I was nervous, like I was like, I don't want to stand the whole time. It's awesome. You can't go wrong. And like I said, the show that we went to with you guys last year, our seats were GA, and Brett Lauderdale walked us over to physical seats that were sick. So you never know.
Maybe I'll just say I'm friends with Erica Marini and we'll get moved up. Or I'll just say Ian just turned 21. Maybe you can get a
exactly.
Yeah.
And a bucket of beer, and then we'll have.
Here you go. See.
Yeah.
That's what Ian's most looking forward to is the buckets of beer.
That was the best.
Absolutely.
We were just buckets after buckets.
And
just keep the buckets coming.
Last year too, I don't think we really even sat down. We had seats, but we just stood up the whole time.
Oh yeah, and that's the vibe of the whole thing. That's why, as you guys know, I had planned to pop in and surprise you on Friday. It's just when I found out it was in that arena again.
So it's going to be a sauna, basically.
Yeah.
Oh God, and it's going to smell so bad.
Just that wrestling stank going on there.
I love it. The air's so thick with just. Ugh.
Oh, it's going to be a grand old time. But we will be watching WWE Clash at the Castle from our hotel room because it will be happening here in the States around noon, which is a nice time because you wake up and you got wrestling kind of right away. And then later on in the evening, we're going to be going to GCW. So just a weekend full of wrestling. But let's just get into the card here. Our current champion is my cousin Tyler of the Maximum Male Models. He's looking to defend his OTM PLE championship. And while we do these predictions, if you're watching live in the comments, please let us know who you think are going to be winning these matches that we go over, because we're going to start here with Clash, and then we will make our way over to All Out in the second half. So let's start with this one, Erica. I will let you go first. We don't have a champion's advantage here because there's no champions on the show, but we got Edge and Rey Mysterio teaming up to take on the Judgment Day, which is, of course, is Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Who do you like in this one?
I don't know that I don't know, because it's hard to root against.
Take a drink. Hold on. Every time Erica says I don't,
shit.
take a drink. Everybody at home, take a drink when Erica says I don't know.
She said it twice too. Does that count?
If you want to, Ian, go for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do. Want to.
Does IDK count?
No, you got Erica. We're not doing this shit from the dump. Make up your goddamn mind.
Edge, and it's difficult because it's Rey Mysterio. But I guess just high hopes that like something happens with Dominic. I don't know, and I'll take Judgment Day. They don't need it, but I'm gonna just hopes that something happens. I don't know.
I don't agree they don't need it. I would say they definitely do need it.
Judgment Day?
Yeah.
Why not? They're new. They're hot. They're dominant.
Yeah, I think they need a big win on a important show, which is they're billing this to be a pretty big show. Ian, I know you haven't been watching as much, but which side do you favor here?
I favor the Judgment Day as well. I will say they do need a win, and they're kind of a new faction under Balor, at least. Mm-hmm. And like you said, getting a big win in a pay-per-view, that is my go. I'm going with Judgment Day.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a clean sweep here, and I'm going to agree with you guys. And going off of what our buddy Steve's saying here in the comments, Judgment Day for the win. Dom to cost Rey and Edge. I think it is time for Dominic Mysterio to turn on his father. I don't know necessarily if he's going to be joining the Judgment Day. Maybe he's just had enough of being the sidekick to his dad and not getting a match here with Edge. So
that's a good point. And then also, because I was going to say, there's also the Beth factor. And so if Dom does whatever happens, throw a hissy fit and walks off, and then maybe Beth comes to even the odds. I don't know.
Eventually, Beth is going to come into play because we saw her at the end of Raw a couple weeks ago. So I think inevitably we're going to get to a Beth versus Rhea match down the line. Maybe that's going to happen at Survivor Series, but I don't think Edge and Rey Mysterio need this win. I would expect Rey Mysterio to eat the pinfall, and then we move on and further the story with Dominic. So if Dominic doesn't turn here, I mean, it's a missed opportunity because Dominic hasn't been outstanding by any means, and he gets a lot of hate online. I don't think he's bad, but I think we all can agree that Dominic Mysterio just needs a character change of sorts.
I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna say Dominic Mysterio causes Rey Mysterio to retire. He's going to have a retirement match and make Rey Mysterio retire. I mean, what other way would you want to do it?
No, I don't. I think that's eventually what we're getting to. I just don't know how soon that is going to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't say how soon it was. Obviously, within the next year, I would say. I don't know what his
maybe
contract
Mania
is. Mania, yeah, exactly. I would say it is coming soon, though.
And look at this. You know how I was telling you about how we crowned an interim MVM on SCW?
Is this our interim?
The interim MVM champion, Martin Carrillo, is here. He's saying, "What's up, everyone? I'm new here. Hope everyone is doing great. We are doing fantastic." Martin, it's good to see you again. You were interacting all 2 hours with SCW and myself. So appreciate you stopping by here for OTM episode 110. But we are starting off our predictions on the same page, going with the Judgment Day over Edge and Rey Mysterio, which then takes us here, Ian. Gunther, or I should say Gunther, before Dirk Bogus ridicules me for my pronunciation of Gunther. He is the IC champion taking on Sheamus. This is going to be a hard-hitting affair. Gunther just recently won that title maybe a month or two ago. Ian, do you think there's any chance Sheamus walks away champ, or are you going to keep the belt on Gunther?
No, and I will explain this later, as I don't want to give anything away with my predictions yet. I'm going to Gunther here. No, I'm not going to give away anything yet. I got Gunther retaining. Nope. Gunther retains. And I think Butch is going to make some sort of turn.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, same.
But honestly, I haven't kept up with the storyline. But just from looking at it with what I know, I'm going to say Gunther retains.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I like that, and I hadn't thought about that, honestly. I also, it's not my turn, but I also think Gunther retains. I like the, what's his name?
Ludwig Kaiser?
No, Pete Dunne. Yeah. I like the Pete Dunne, what's his name?
Butch,
okay. Butch. I like that thought, and especially watching NXT this week when he popped up on the iPad to Tyler Bates, and it was like Pete Dunne. It wasn't like Butch. I don't know. I just feel like the real Pete Dunne's gonna like come back, and I'm salivating at the thought. But I like that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about an involvement from Butch or Pete Dunne. It's probably going to be Pete Dunne. It seems like everybody is getting back their old gimmicks that they had before Vince got his hands on them. So maybe also, that is the direction. If Sheamus wins, we riot. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad if Sheamus won because, I mean, we've talked about it here in the past that he is a consistent worker and he always puts on good matches. But Gunther's doing good things with the IC title. He's defending it every week on television pretty much. So I think you elevate him some more and he gets a convincing win here over Sheamus, who has a good resume in WWE. Martin saying, I see an attack happening backstage on Rey. No one knows who it is, but Dominic takes his place. And in mid-match, Dominic leaves Edge on his own. That is that is also another way to go about that match for sure. There's no way that tag match is clean.
No.
By any means. Something is going to happen. And once again, something could happen here with Pete Dunne. I like that idea that you had, Ian. So we all are on the same page once again. 2 for 2. We're going with Gunther here to retain the IC title. I think we might differ, though, on this one. Ian talked about at the beginning of the podcast. The promo that they had last week kind of got everybody hyped up as they brought the realism of Matt Riddle's divorce into that backstage promo. Shooting from the hip. That was a straight shoot between Rollins and Riddle. That made me very excited alone for this match. I'm disappointed we're not getting any sort of stipulation, and maybe that happens at another match down the road. But I don't think it's the last we're going to see of these two. But if we're going to start this feud here at the Clash at the Castle, I think Seth Rollins is the one that's going to go over to start it. Eventually, Riddle can get that win back. But I feel like we haven't seen Rollins pick up many wins on big shows. He was eating losses to Cody Rhodes for a couple of months. And since then, he's kind of been involved in, primary feuds, but hasn't got a big win. I think getting a win over Riddle is a big enough win.
This is the match that was supposed to happen at SummerSlam, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Does that affect what you think here in this match, Erica?
No, I was just showing off my memory. I don't know. I think I want Riddle to win, but you made a good point. I could see it maybe making more sense to have Rollins win. But then, I also feel like Seth really hit below the belt, so I think that a sweet victory for Riddle would be very, what's the word,
poetic.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess.
Oh shit! You said I don't know.
Shit.
Shit.
If you're listening later and you want to drink along, every time Erica says I don't know, take a sip.
Just make sure you don't have plans for later that night.
Or it could be coffee in the morning if you're listening on a Friday morning.
Yeah, true. Or a hard coffee. I'm gonna take Riddle anyway, just to split this up. I like what you said. I could see that happening, but I'll just take Riddle for.
I think it could go either way, so I don't think that's a horrible thing to say that Riddle is going to win. Ian, which side do you lean towards?
This is a tough one. This is the toughest match to predict on this card.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I'm gonna go with Riddle winning. Again, I'll explain later as to my reasoning behind these picks, because if I say it now, it'll give away my picks later.
Damn, a lot of this ties into what you're thinking later, huh?
I love it.
It does. So I have Riddle winning, and at first I was thinking I want to go with Rollins because he's the safe choice for the company. With all this stuff coming up with Riddle, give the win to Rollins so he's not left with another win and kind of just stagnant in the water. But I do like it with Riddle winning, getting that big win over Rollins. And like you said, it would be a sweet victory, especially with us choosing all of these heels winning. If those go through, you want some sweet victory to look back at, especially with this build-up. So I'm going to go with Riddle winning this one.
Okay.
And what Martin said about a more serious and vicious Riddle moving forward, I think I don't know about the two of you, but I could see that now with the realism of that shoot between the two of them. You didn't see an angry Riddle ever before that was legitimately pissed off and mad. So I could see that. I don't know what would happen when Randy came back. Maybe that's kind of
he'd fit right in.
Up him versus. That's true too.
Maybe it's a more intense version of RK Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad Bros. That's not their name, but they would just be bad.
Bad Bros. I kind of like that. I think Riddle is the kind of guy too that can play both sides too. He can be serious, and then he can be that joking 420, haha, let's smoke weed guy. It just takes one little thing though to flip a switch, and then you get serious.
Well, the
MMA fighter Riddle.
Yeah, I was gonna say people forget he was an MMA fighter, and I was watching his highlights as an MMA fighter. This dude was a killer.
Yeah.
A killer. Yeah, he could go for a really good heel, in my opinion, and I'm all for it.
I think eventually they will test the waters with him being a heel, because I also think he'd be good. Steve saying hello to Martin, the interim MVM in the house. Yes, he is. Martin picked Rollins for the reason that Riddle can't go up in the card with Reigns as champion. That thinking makes a lot of sense. Steve is going with Seth to win, and this carries then over to Extreme Rules, which I believe is the next PLE, where Riddle can win in a falls count anywhere type of match.
Ooh.
And he also has Gunther for the win. So, yeah, those are some good ideas in the chat. I like your thinking, guys.
Love it.
Appreciate the feedback. So those two are going with Riddle. I'm going with Rollins. So then, Erica, once again, you get to go first, and I do not want to hear I don't know for this match. We got 6-woman tag action between the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, teaming up with Alexa Bliss and Asuka to take on Damage Control, a.k.a. Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Io Sky and Dakota surprisingly did not win the Women's Tag Team Championships on Raw. A lot of people suspected them to be the ones to defeat Aaliyah and Raquel. That did not happen, obviously. So do you think that is going to affect this match at all? Maybe they get a bounce-back victory here, or are they going to continue a slide of sorts?
I think they for sure, even if the women's tag tournament didn't happen, or if they even were in it, I think they're picking up the win Saturday regardless. I think they're back. I think they're dominant. I think they're super powerful. I think they've made a name for themselves, and I think they're going to continue to. And I think maybe just wishful thinking. Imagine if Sasha and Naomi do come back, and it's like, you know, Sasha, but like Sasha, like, you know, Sasha and Bailey are BFF, so it's like a nice reunion of sorts. But then maybe it kind of somehow shifts. I don't know. Something. I would love it. Something to happen. I don't know.
Oh, that was 2 times, by the way.
Fuck, I'm going to be hammered by the end of this.
I know.
So your pick is Bailey, Dakota, and Io, correct?
For sure. Yes.
I forgot where I heard it. It might have been on Busted Open Radio, but they talked about maybe the fact that Aaliyah and Raquel won. Was it just to be an easy transitional champion for Naomi 100%. And Sasha to come back? Because Naomi and Sasha defeating Raquel and Aaliyah is going to go over a little better than them just coming in and squashing Dakota and Io, who have this juice right now. So
I thought of that as well. Yeah.
I'm not too mad about that booking decision. I'm letting it play out. That's how I am with that.
And also, I feel like having somebody like Raquel, who is such a powerhouse and such a force, and her being new on the main roster, giving her this
credibility.
Also, Aaliyah deserves something for being in NXT for 35 years. So, yeah.
And the quickest win in WWE history.
That's right. So if for nothing else to like maybe build the two of them up somehow without,
Before Ian, I get your pick. Let's go to Steve's question here. He asks, how do you all feel with the earlier start time for Clash of the Castle in the States? It's a big deal for us in the UK. Does it affect you with the different start time being in the States? I think we like it, right, Erica?
And I'm like really happy that he just said it's a big deal for us, because like I love that. I can't imagine that like you guys either it's got to be like super late, or you got to watch the next day. You can't watch it live. So I'm like ultra happy that you guys get it on a prime time. I like it. I'm not gonna be able to watch it live because my sister's getting married.
What a loser.
But I know. But I otherwise you like it, and especially in a weekend like this where there's so much wrestling that you just kind of one rolls into another, and it's cool.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Ian, I know you don't watch much WWE, but you cool with this start time on Saturday?
Listen, I'll probably still be asleep by the time it starts, so it doesn't really bother me. I do like the idea of it making it more accessible, because I know, especially AEW, with having later start times, like it makes UK, it's almost impossible to watch. Which I do feel bad, because I have a bunch of friends in the UK that I tried to get them to join in on the wrestling. But I mean, it's a 5-hour difference for Central Time.
They have good wrestling
crowds. You can't blame them. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I do feel bad. It's awful. But I'm glad this is a good. Hopefully, it's a good step forward and not just kind of that one-off thing.
Yeah.
But
this should be a thing like they do in Saudi every year. Just go to do a Clash show, and this is like their WrestleMania over there across the pond. They deserve to enjoy WWE as well, because they're some of the most passionate fans in professional wrestling. So,
and not just live house shows, like
it's a lot different.
A giant pay-per-view like this,
So back to the picks, Ian. Vogus has Bailey pinning Bianca here, so that would be 2 people going with the Bailey's team. Are you also going to be going with Damage Control here?
Again, I will not reveal.
Here he goes again with the later shit.
But yes, I am going with Bailey. Bailey's team to win. And I do like the point of, I didn't know that Dakota and Io were going for the titles. I didn't know that. So having them lose to the titles is fine, as long as the group gets a big win. They still have some fire behind them and credibility. So in my opinion, they have to win this.
I agree, because since the title won't be on the line for Bianca, it's a tag match. It doesn't hurt Bianca being on a team that has the loss. Like, she's not going to be the one that's going to take the pinfall. It's probably going to be Alexa, if I had to guess. So I also am in agreement. I'm going with Bailey, Dakota, and Io. They need this win, regain some momentum that they potentially have lost on Monday. Let's go to the chat, though, after this. Steve's saying it is very late. He's going to need some energy drinks tomorrow. Yeah, I think he's about 7 hours.
Much respect.
Ahead, which is insane. We started recording at 9:30 his time, and he's in Sweden right now, actually. So
wow,
it's pretty wild. Martin says, which crowd would be a more electrifying, Chicago or Wales?
Chicago.
I don't know.
No, it's Chicago.
Chicago
is the best.
Wales hasn't had wrestling in years.
They're going to blow the roof off. I hope.
Bogus said Ian
Also,
doesn't have
that's
anything
hilarious.
later. All-time filibuster.
Shh, quiet.
I love that Ian's like, I haven't really been following the product, and he's like this. And then like 20 minutes later, he's like this.
But I have
so
stuff for you later. Just
I don't
stay
want to
tuned.
say
I
too
do.
much, but I have my sources and I have thoughts, and
I'm reading the
yeah.
dirt sheets. All right.
Instead of actually doing his homework, he was just researching WWE stuff going into the podcast. He's like, if I'm going to be on here for my 21st birthday, I'm coming prepared.
I better be winning. I'm
Yeah,
winning.
we got to. Let's just beat Tyler. Nobody cares about him. He's irrelevant. All right, got the
Good
burp out of the way.
transition,
what
champ.
I aim to do.
So let's. We got 2 more matches here at the Clash. This is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Liv Morgan, the champion, taking on Shayna Baszler. Erica went first last time, Ian. So you get to start things off here.
Alrighty. I will reveal my ideas on my picks.
Here we go.
So, this whole match card, besides the main event, is NXT versus Vince's guys.
Oh
You
wow.
have- That is all this is, and it's a transition into the Triple H era. That is what this is right now.
He's right.
And I have Shayna Baszler winning this,
Wow.
becoming the champ. I didn't read anything. I literally looked
No.
up the match card, and that is what I came to.
It jumped out at you.
My
Yeah.
conclusion. So, Liv Morgan, see ya. Go to the mid card. Shayna Baszler is your new champ. She's a legitimate champ, an MMA fighter. She's the new champ. That's all I have.
And she had legitimate runs in NXT too. She's
Mhm.
one of the best.
Huge legitimate runs. in
When you
NXT,
think of
yes.
NXT women's champions, I think of Asuka and I think of Shayna Baszler.
Yep.
Those are like 2 of the most dominant champions. Of course, Bailey and Sasha held those belts, but the runs that Asuka and Shayna had in NXT were far
Shayna was the
superior.
first 2-time, wasn't she?
2-time Shayna belts, yeah.
I have
So
that shirt.
I bet you do. You're
Um,
always been a big Shayna gal.
I have.
Day 1-ish right there from Erica Marini, but
That's true.
I am gonna go with Liv Morgan here. I don't really have good reasoning. I like the reheating up of Shayna Baszler because she is a legitimate contender. She should be in more title matches, and she wasn't getting those opportunities for about 2 years, I would say, on the main roster. She was kind of just floating in the tag division. But Liv Morgan's coming off a wonky finish against Ronda Rousey. I think she needs a legitimate defense, clear cut, no shenanigans, and I think she might get it here against Shayna Baszler. So I'm going to go with Liv Morgan retaining her championship.
Do you think that if she were to get a clear, big, legitimate win, that the fans would be back on her side? Or
I don't think all of them would be back, but I think it would help with credibility for sure.
okay,
Like me personally, I would think, I'm like, all right, finally, we got something good going here.
But then wouldn't part of you think like, okay, then like let's just give up on Shayna Baszler?
No, because maybe Shayna, I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I was going to say
And
maybe Shayna
it could
gets
be
away.
that maybe Shayna wins by DQ or something. Does Ronda come out and cause an interference?
That's
Something
another thing we didn't talk
along
about. Yeah.
that, which maybe is. I'm taking Shayna because I do hope that this is her time. I think if anybody could rebuild her brand, it's Triple H and let her be what she like should be on the main roster. So I think I'm kind of going into that just hopeful. But if she's never had a championship title or never been in the picture on the main roster, so I don't know. I feel like it's turning over a new leaf. Like Ian said, it does seem to be NXT versus main roster. Also, the women's tag match, those are all NXT babies.
Yeah.
But newer NXT babies. Yeah,
Right.
I see what you mean.
Correct. How do we
But,
feel about
yeah.
Raquel's back flexing?
I
Not great.
died that he said that.
Not great.
Ripped.
I mean, there's just like 2 little holes on her back every time.
Let me see the holes on your back, Kyle.
I don't have them. I'm not
All right
saying.
then.
Dirk Bogus, that's gross. Martin's saying Shayna hasn't gotten her NXT credibility just yet. How much of a draw would Shayna be for the casual viewers if she becomes SmackDown
She's not
Women's
like
Champion?
conventionally hot. I'm not arguing.
No, I don't
but I know
think
what
that's.
you mean.
No, that's not what he's alluding to right there. I do
No, I
kind of
know.
get what he's saying. Yeah, I don't think Shayna appeals to the casual viewer, which still you got to remember, as much as this is kind of transitioning to the Triple H era, there's still those day one Vince guys that don't really know much about these former NXT stars.
But I think that's like, I feel like she's the perfect one to be like, okay, then let me explain this to you. Like,
She's a
she comes
badass.
out, she's badass.
Yeah.
She's dark. She's got her leather jacket on and her like aviators. And I like that, not having a face, not having a big flamboyant champion, heel or face. I just think she's just who she is. And
there's not much to not understand. She will kick your ass. If
she should be a champion.
Correct. Exactly.
Because she would kick all three of our asses right now at one time.
Well, like Vogus said, she used to do this. If Shayna stomped on some arms again for a few weeks, she'd be a terrifying champ.
Did you see her kick Liv in the head? Was it 2 weeks ago? It was so dirty and like I loved it. And that's like what she needs to keep doing. Like let her be not a dirty fighter, but like let her be legitimate.
Let her be herself. Exactly.
I'm not against it. I'm not against her winning. I think
Martin, don't conjure things. Don't put things out to the universe.
Martin, what if Lily comes back and haunts Shayna once again? No more Lily. We're done with
Shayna's not afraid.
This is the doll that Alexa Bliss carried, right?
Yes. Okay.
And she still apparently
went to therapy with. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And she's and we're supposed to believe she's like the #1 seller in WWE shop. Who's buying them? Ryan Cabrera? No.
On another episode of Who's Buying This? Who's buying this?
Who's buying a Lily doll with teeth?
Raise your hands in the chat if you thought about buying a Lily doll. Well, I want to see it.
Don't send it to my house, Ian.
Ian, of course.
That's what you wanted for your birthday. You could just tell me.
Yeah, your 21st birthday, you get a Lily doll.
I got a Lily doll for my birthday. Sick.
Ryan Vogus is.
Yeah.
Of course. So let's move to the main event that actually feels like a legitimate main event here at Clash at the Castle. You have Drew McIntyre taking on the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, who just reached the 2-year mark of his title reign. We've been getting video packages for Drew McIntyre for the past couple weeks. He's been teasing Broken Dreams as his theme song, which if that does happen, I'm going to mark the fuck out because that is a fantastic theme. I need that in my life. But this is a very tough call. Everybody knows about Roman Reigns, all that he's accomplished so far in the past 2 years. He's been untouchable. But there's so many outside variables I think you need to consider going into this main event. Does Karrion Kross get involved? Because Karrion Kross has kind of been just chilling in the background. We saw him approach Drew and Roman when he returned to WWE. Does he cost Drew? Does he cost Roman? I'm not sure you want to have anybody interfere in this main event because maybe you just want this to be a moment in time between two guys. You have the possibility of maybe Solo Sikoa getting the call up and getting involved. I don't know the status of the Usos. I'm pretty sure they can't travel, so I don't think they're going to be there. So we're going to act like they're not going to get involved. But you also have Braun Strowman, who's rumored to be returning on Monday Night Raw coming up here on Monday. And then you have Bray Wyatt, who's still out there. What if Bray Wyatt cost Roman Reigns a title? Because there is history there. There is a lot of question marks here. But I do not want to see any type of interference here. I want this to be clean. And everybody knows where I stand with my Tribal Chief. I acknowledge him every day. I'm acknowledging him right now. Roman Reigns, you are my Tribal Chief. I respect the hell out of you. But Drew McIntyre is winning both the championships at Clash at the Castle. No cash in from Austin Theory. We're getting a clean win, a big moment in his home country. Drew McIntyre goes over Roman Reigns clean. And the end of the Tribal Chief is here on Saturday.
Wow.
Erica.
Wow.
You got to be shocked that I went against Roman.
I am. I respect it, though. I agree. I'm not a Drew McIntyre guy, but I have to say, as I've often said about other matches, if not, and maybe this is the time it finally happens, if not now, when? I think that the fact that they trusted Drew during the Thunderdome era to be the champion and carry that on his back speaks volumes. And I think that they probably have that same faith in him to be the one to take it off of Roman. Because I don't know who else would. I like everything that you said about the possibilities. I'd like this to be a clean match, and maybe at the very end, someone's music hits, and then it's like an oh shit type of moment. But I think I say this unfortunately, just because he bores me. I'm sorry. I feel really bad saying that, but I think Drew wins.
What about Drew is boring to you? I think he's like a legitimate badass babyface.
I just don't know.
only way Drew wins is if he actually stabs him with the sword. Ryan Vogus, a phenomenal comment. Then he also says that Roman will be holding up both titles to end the show.
And then maybe someone's music hits. Can someone's music just hit?
Well, that's kind of what Martin's getting to here. He's saying the ending is going to be clean,
Yes.
but we will see someone show up to keep the UK and Welsh fans happy. I do agree with that statement. Let's make it clean.
Although you'd really be missing a huge opportunity to blow the roof off to have Drew win there.
Oh, yeah. It would
and
be
then let
a
someone's
hell of a
music
moment.
hit.
Yeah.
I just want to.
Austin Theory ruining Drew McIntyre's moment and cashing in would be mega heel heat. Mega heat. That would be something. All right, Ian, you get to pick. Main event time. Who you got?
All right, I think I got a lot of pressure here. I'm not gonna lie. So if I'm breaking this down,
break it down,
and I get all my picks right, I would be tying Erica as the champ.
Okay.
And we all know that I don't like ties.
Nobody likes ties.
But we all know
we be tag champs
that I'm not fucking picking Drew McIntyre. I had that written down. I'm going with Roman Reigns retaining the title.
Okay.
Keeping that heat that he had, I don't think he's the one to beat him. I think whoever comes up, it's going to be either Karrion or, like you said, with Bray Wyatt. I didn't even think about that. Braun Strowman, no way. Roman Reigns is going to retain. I don't know what the future holds, but I think Reigns is going to reign.
I don't know, man. This is tough. This is like, I talked to Steve about it too on one of his live streams. Since maybe John Cena, because I didn't even buy into Brock Lesnar beating Roman. This is the first time where I legitimately think Roman Reigns is going to lose. John Cena, I thought there was a chance because he was going to get the record. I wasn't buying into the Brock Lesnar stuff because he was kind of a part-timer. But here against Drew in Wales, I mean, come on. It screams Drew McIntyre.
It's hard to not.
It is hard to not. And that's the thing that made me choose Roman Reigns.
I also don't like things ending. Like, I don't watch the last episodes of, like, the last season of shows. I'm just like, bizarro. So I don't want the Roman Reigns era to end, but
if Braun comes back, do you want him to hit the train horn when he runs around the ring again?
If Braun comes back, I riot and boycott.
It's not happening.
You really don't like him.
Snooze fest. Also, he doesn't swallow enough. Like,
is that a code for sex?
What?
No, it's a code for swallow your spit, bro. Do you not hear it?
No, I don't.
I have a very keen ear for shit like that. That's been bothering me since a child.
I mean, you're not going to get that kind of analysis on any other wrestling podcast, people. This is why you tuned into the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
Tino's checking in. He says, "What's up,
Tino?
guys?" Kyle's pulling double duty. Yes, I am.
Right.
I feel like I've been talking forever. And we've been talking about Clash for a while. There was only 6 matches. We got a lot more to get into with All Out around the break. But we're going to take a brief intermission here, pivot on over to AEW All Out, which me and Ian will be in attendance for. See you around the corner.
What's everybody saying about the On The Mark podcast?
It's just insane, and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
Also, can we talk about my funny ass joke before we came on?
What'd you say?
I was fanning myself off, and I didn't know you went live, and I said, "Call me Dakota, because I be fanning."
That
was perfect.
Erica made it funny. Everybody acknowledge Erica in the comments.
Thank you. It was funny.
What's going on, Jeff? I know I saw you in the stream with Steve. He said, "Sup, guys," and you mean Ms. Balls. Absolutely. Steve says, "Totally agree. Roman always feels the obvious choice. This is the first time in a long time that Roman is vulnerable." I'm sorry
There's
about
so many
that.
factors.
I'm resting that voice now. Yeah, I can already feel my voice going away. And also Perry checking in, who was a part of the live stream earlier. What's going on, Perry? Good to see you again. We are here to talk about All Out. I talked a lot about All Out with Steve, so I will keep my points to a minimum. I'm going to let you two kind of carry the reasonings behind your picks. We're not going to talk about the buy-in, but I do want to talk about the fact that I still am your AEW champion. I will be retaining that AEW championship here at All Out. and there's nothing you can do about it because I am better than you, and you know it.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
agree with that at all.
So since I'm the champ, I get to start things off. We got Ricky Starks taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. This is a rivalry that's been heating up over the past month. I enjoyed the split and the natural babyface turn that we are getting from Ricky Starks. It's a turn that I didn't expect to see, but I'm glad we got it because he is very entertaining. I think Starks needs some momentum here, and I think it starts by defeating an old pal in Hobbs. Hobbs will have his opportunities down the line, but I'm going to go with Ricky Starks here at All Out, Erica.
I love everything about Ricky Starks, and even more so now. He's so natural. He was born to be a star. He deserves to be a star. And like you said, I think this is a perfect starting point for this catapult to happen. So give me Ricky all day. Also, thank you, everybody, for having fantastic comedic humor and appreciating my joke.
Perry appreciates. He's clapping for Erica.
Thank you. Mr. Rogas LMAO'd.
He also
My
says
AC's
Ricky Starks for the win.
Yep.
Ian, are you going to make it a sweep?
It is a clean sweep. Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
If you are serious about sending him to the moon, now is the time. Powerhouse Hobbs is he's a legitimate dude. If you want to send him up to the moon, you get him the victory at All Out out of all pay-per-views.
Yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs is a legitimate dude, but he ain't no Ricky Starks.
He ain't no Ricky Starks.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where Starks would go after Hobbs. Whatever that's the TNT Championship. Maybe he feuds with Wardlow. I don't know, but he definitely is a talent to keep an eye on.
Randy Paul saying the Rock wins. Oops, I mean Ricky Starks. Always say that. I always think he's a young Rock, especially with like this, like silk shirts, like whatever button downs.
The drip, the charisma, the cadence on the microphone. Yeah. Very Rock-esque out there. So it's a clean
cheats
sweep.
at the one chip challenge, but he's all right.
Sure. I didn't know he did that. So
I was homesick from work one day and watched a ton of BTE, and they did it, but
fair enough. So let's move on here. We got 6-man tag action, FTR and Wardlow taking on Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Erica, you get to start us off here with this 6-man tag.
Well, I'll never go against FTR. Yeah, there's no way that they don't win, especially with Wardlow, and I think Wardlow needs a solidifying win after becoming TNT champion, because I don't know, did he defend it once against Orange Cassidy, and that was
and I think he might have
really
defended it against Lethal too in the past. I'm not 100% sure.
Nah, I think nothing. And I heard that what's it called, Twisted Metal stopped filming, so that Samoa Joe would be available now to come back. So I don't know if maybe like he interferes somehow with unfinished shit with Jay Lethal. Maybe not. Wishful thinking. I would just love to see Samoa Joe's face. But yeah, FTR and Wardlow for sure.
Yeah, Satnam Singh could get involved, of course, because he's alongside Jay Lethal. Interesting decision to bring in the Motor City Machine Guns since they are a part of Impact Wrestling. I got to see them at Ric Flair's last match, but other than that, I don't know much about them. But Steve was telling me earlier they're one of the best tag teams in wrestling over the past decade over on Impact. And Vogus proposes a good question, though. Why is this match happening? I asked the same thing, Ian. It's just weird that this is taking place here at All Out. You couldn't really find Wardlow a TNT title opportunity here at one of your biggest pay-per-views?
My issue with this is why bring up Jay Lethal as a serious competitor and then throw him in a trios match for no reason with an Impact team that most of us has never really heard of. I know him just because of Impact, but why throw him in here? Because I have him losing and I have FTR and Wardlow winning.
Yeah.
But why throw him in here? I mean, I get it, maybe get some cross-brand promotion, but I don't understand. Why would you give Jay Lethal all these wins? No, it doesn't make sense to me.
And because ultimately, like, I always think of it as like, it would ideally be like another big man with a good tag team behind him. So like maybe like a Miro and Motor City Machine Guns. Because ultimately it would be Wardlow versus their big guy, but they don't have a big guy. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense.
Well, I agree with Steve, and maybe it's because they already have a shit ton of matches.
Yeah.
But he wishes FTR and the Motor City Machine Guns was just a regular tag match, and then maybe you could do Wardlow versus Jay Lethal. But I think they just said, fuck it, we don't have enough room. Let's make it a tag match. And I'm like, why? Randy says, Erica make a good point. All 4 was from TNA. Martin's saying FTR is great. Motor City Machine Guns are great. Why are they fighting? Do they hate each other? We don't know, Martin. That's a great question. And that's, I think, the consensus here from most people. But I'm in agreement with you guys. It's got to be FTR and Wardlow. They got the titles on them. If they lose, I think it's going to be very awkward, especially when Motor City's from Impact. They don't need the win. They're coming over on an AEW pay-per-view. It's just weird. So I'll go with FTR and Wardlow.
Agreed.
Erica should be a future AEW Women's Champion. She's got the look, damn it, sign. Her con. I'm sorry, not a lot of punctuation there.
Thank you. Thank you, Perry.
Ryan Bogus said this is Tino's way of getting those three. Tony's way of getting those three on the card, but come on. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But like you said, I didn't think of it. Like you couldn't have thought of a Wardlow, or no offense, just don't have Wardlow on, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's Survivor Series and no one's defending the TNT title. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's get into this next one. This is interesting. The casino ladder match. The winner gets a title opportunity against whoever wins that Moxley and Punk match. You have Claudio Castagnoli, the Ring of Honor champion in here, Wheeler Yuta, Penta, Rey Fenix, Rush, Andrade, Dante Martin, and the Joker. I think the Joker is going to be W. Morrissey since we just saw him on Wednesday. A lot of people are hoping for an MJF appearance here. Erica, do you suspect any MJF shenanigans in this match, or are we not going to be seeing him on Sunday night?
I think if we don't see MJF on Sunday night, it's a sad time for all of AEW fans. I hadn't thought about his interference in this match. Like, I'm trying to remember who said it before, Martin maybe, that there's maybe whomever the Joker is gets attacked. Maybe it's somebody like W. Morrissey, no offense, because whatever, he would not win. But maybe he gets attacked backstage and who did it? Who's going to take his place? And then MJF's music hits. And then he's the Joker. I don't see anybody. I think this match is going to be a banger.
A lot of
with
talent.
Who's already in it. I don't see it being Claudio. I don't see it being Wheeler Yuta. Rush will like murder somebody, but I don't see it being him. Definitely neither Phoenix or Penta, and Andrade. So I think it's got to be the Joker, and so I think the Joker's got to be somebody that's already kind of got something going with the championship picture. So I think somehow having MJF be the Joker would be fantastic. So I'm going to double down and say that it's the Joker and that it's the Joker's MJF.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a good point from Bogus. Going back to the last match, us being okay with Wardlow not being on the card shows how badly they've dropped the ball with him.
Are we fickle?
We are, but we're
we all
fans.
Liked it because of the MJF factor, and then it's like MJF just has that je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of talent in this match, Ian. Who do you think is going to win though? And who do you think is the Joker going to be as I go Pete?
This is a hard one.
That's what she said.
Okay. The issue with this is there are so many tag teams and factions within this. And my issue too is with someone like Wheeler Yuta and Claudio winning it. They can't. I mean they can with the tag team or the.
They're also both already champions.
Correct. Yeah, that is another thing. But they have the title match and they have a faction member within that title match who's already the champion, which makes it awkward. Why would you do that?
Right.
If there is one person that needs something like this in a title shot, it would be Andrade. Yeah. And that is exactly who I'm going with. I'm going with Andrade. I'm not going with the Joker pick because I think that's too low hanging of a fruit to pick. I'm not sure who this Joker could be per se. I have no answer for the Joker pick. I would say, I mean, if anything, it would be MJF, but I don't think they're going to be able to get him. I don't know. I have Andrade winning this thing, though. I don't know who is going to be this Joker, but I have Andrade.
I don't think it's going to be MJF in this match. If he makes an appearance, I think it might be in the main event. But I also don't think he's going to show up at all out. I feel like we would have, got a little bit of buzz, seen one rumor. Because we haven't heard anything about MJF since he's been gone.
Exactly.
Usually something leaks, there's a lead, and then we figure, oh, maybe there's a chance. I just don't feel like there's a chance that MJF's going to show up. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am, because I think it would be very entertaining. I just don't think he's going to be the Joker. I'm going with W. Morrissey as the Joker. I don't think he is going to win, though. I lean towards a Dante Martin just based on the fact that I think there's already feuds in this match that'll sidetrack people. You got the Lucha Bros, you have Andrade and Roosh. They're going to kind of be going at it. And then you got the Blackpool Combat Club with Claudio and Yuta.
That's what he was kind of saying, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear that, obviously. But, so I'm going to go with Dante Martin because they usually just give it to a guy where they know will get the rub in a championship match. Probably won't win because I don't think anybody that's won a casino ladder match has won the world title after, winning this style of a match. So I think it'll be a Dante Martin.
Maybe, like the great Owen Hart said, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. And now somebody wins this.
Martin saying Ray Phoenix would be nice to see win, but the Joker will win it. Maybe someone from New Japan. Yeah, we already got Ishii on the card. He's fighting on the buy-in against Eddie Kingston.
Oh, and I know I'll talk about it all the time, but then that Capital Collision, his match versus Eddie Kingston and Ishii won. I could have watched it 4 times over and over and over. So God. I am like, enough. I'm very excited. This match is happening again.
Did you wash your hands? No, I usually don't wash my hands when I pee.
Did you even pee? You were going for 4 seconds.
No, I knocked over a beer over here, so I had to clean that for a little bit, and then I rushed my pee. Or I rooshed my pee.
That's an impressive pee.
That's an impression. You pushed that out.
Yeah, you did.
Why doesn't Roosh wear the cow head? That's a great question. Christopher Run, the Joker can be Ryback. No, no Ryback comments in here. Not allowed. I would be pleased to see Sin Cara, the most non-botchable wrestler, be the Joker. What's going on, Chris? Good to have you here for our AEW All Out picks. So I'm going with Dante Martin. Erica's going with MJF. And you're going with Andrade, right, Ian?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's move on here to the TBS Championship match between Jade Cargill, who still hasn't lost, taking on Athena. Athena's run in AEW hasn't been that great so far. It seems to be a common trend. Ruby Soho also not having a great run in AEW. It's very unfortunate because I thought both those women would make a splash coming on over to a division that desperately needed them. And I said on Steve's live stream a couple hours ago that I thought Athena was going to win just for the shock value, but for the OTM picks, I'm going to play it safe and be a coward. I'm going with Jade Cargill, even though I'm thinking Athena could win for that surprise. And who else is going to beat Jade Cargill? Because I look up and down that roster, there's no one else credible to take that title away from here. Maybe just get a quick roll up here randomly 10, 15 minutes into the match. Jade can move on to the world title because I think she is deserving of the world title there in AEW. Move past the TBS title scene and let some of the mid-card talent kind of fight over it for a little bit. So I would like to see Athena win, but my official pick is going to be Jade Cargill, Erica.
Athena's another one. Snooze fest. Listen, Jade Cargill beats her ass. Athena would be the most boring champion. No offense. She seems like a nice girl, but she would be. She's got like nothing besides whatever. Let Jade be like, I have nobody else to beat. Like, you've given me your best. Like, I'm done with this. Let her insert herself into the main AEW Women's Championship picture. Let her say, like, I've done all I can do. That's how they had Shayna give up the NXT belt. Like, I've beaten everybody here, and I'm kind of over it. Like, whatever. Let Jade do that and kind of keep her reputation and keep what she's built for herself and let her move into that picture without having to take a loss, because I don't think she deserves to take a loss. And I don't think, then let the TNT championship become vacant and get your mid-card girls to have their opportunity to shine for it. Yeah, it's got to be Jade.
Voga says Jade loses and she inserts herself later into the world title match and wins that title. I don't hate that idea either. Rick's going with Jade Cargill, and Athena will be sent back to Dark.
I think Vogus means to insert herself into the ladder match, the men's ladder match. That's probably what it means there.
No, it's not what he means.
The men's?
No, he's talking about the later match that's happening for the women's title. Ian.
Okay.
Are you comprehending?
Yes.
No, he's
making sure
21
you-
and he's drinking.
Fair enough.
I also have Jade Cargill retaining. I don't think Athena's the one to take her off. And like you said, I like the whole idea of having her move on to the actual main title
Yeah.
and saying, yeah, this is boring. Give me something real to fight. And she'll go for that title and end up winning that thing.
Yeah,
And I also agree with what Vogus says.
Bogus is kind of thinking what I'm thinking. I'm obviously not picking Athena officially, but I like this reasoning. He's saying Jade losing would make Athena a star, and everyone would forget about her if she lost, and she would just get lost in the shuffle. Yeah, and then
would forget about her loss if she won the main title. Everyone would forget that she lost to Athena if she won the AEW Women's Championship.
Right, and I don't think it would be a big deal if she did lose that championship because, like Vogus said, she eventually is going to win.
She's going to have to. Yeah.
She's got to lose eventually. And if it's not to Athena, who is it?
I don't know.
Is it Penelope Ford?
No.
Exactly. So let's move on. Everybody got their picks in there, right? I didn't skip anyone. Okay. Let's move on to probably the best story going right now on the All Out card. You have Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. Christian Cage sort of filling that MJF void as the top heel in AEW over the past month, getting very personal with his promos here in his feud with Jungle Boy. Ian, I'll let you go first here. Who do you got?
I think I'm going to go into Tony Khan's mind here and say that Jungle Boy wins this match. It's another feel-good story. Everyone will cheer, or should cheer, technically. I think Christian Cage is kind of in the shoes of Bryan Danielson in the fact he wants to come here to lift up the future generation. And that's exactly what he's going to do here and give Jungle Boy the win. Kind of give him a little rub, give him the push, which he's already had. But I think this win will give him a lot of future with Luchasaurus in the fact that they could turn to a darker side, which I am really looking forward to if that happens, because we already saw that with Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy's already showed that too, and kind of having that mean attitude, which I love to see. So I'm kind of tired of the whole babyface Jungle Boy. I'm excited for some little ruthlessness in them.
Okay, interesting take there. I think Luchasaurus might get involved here in this match. Maybe it's all been a fake out by him, being buddy with Jungle Boy again, because he still has that heel theme song, that heel presentation when he makes his entrance. So I don't trust Luchasaurus fully here, and I think Christian Cage is going to get the win, whether it be by a distraction or clean, just because I do think eventually this is going to lead to another match at a bigger stage and a bigger stipulation. You could make it a steel cage match. You can make it a falls count anywhere. Just some sort of stipulation where Jungle Boy will get his revenge over Christian Cage. It's just right now, I think to get to that point, I got to get a heel victory here at All Out. And then Jungle Boy can eventually get that win back down the road and ultimately end up winning this feud, because that's the goal. Christian Cage, like you said, Ian, is here to elevate younger talent, and that's what he's going to do to Jungle Boy. It's just not quite yet Jungle Boy's time, in my opinion. So I'm going with Christian Cage, Erica.
I agree with the both of you, because when Jungle Boy was cutting that promo the other night, I said it out loud in hopes that I was going to say what he was saying when he was like, when you get in that ring with me, you're going to be fighting Jack Perry. And I was like, yes, cheered out loud, because we need to see Jack Perry. We've seen Jungle Boy. However, like Ian said, I am interested in seeing this darker Jungle Boy, maybe a more real, Jack Perry. But I don't see Christian Cage losing, because he built this whole, and also the Luchasaurus factor. It was way too shady that he immediately turned and rejoined forces with Jungle Boy. It just was something was suspect with that. Mm-hmm. And I think Christian built this heel character, and to have him lose to Jungle Boy, I don't know. I just believe that. Okay, well then now what? Who else am I going to talk shit to? It's kind of this is kind of his. I never know how to say niche.
You got to back up what you're preaching, is what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, and it's this is his thing. It's him and Jungle Boy. It's not going to be late to rest if Jungle Boy gets the win at All Out. I think it needs to go on a little bit further. Maybe keeping it fresh, having the Luchasaurus factor.
Yeah.
I'm taking Christian Cage, but I would not be bad if whatever.
Jungle Boy
Luke.
won. Yeah, I don't think any of
Luke
us would.
Perry.
Does Tony Khan's mind look like a 7-year-old boys with action figures and wrestling buddies?
Absolutely.
Kind of.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Kind
Probably.
of.
A
Chris
little bit of
Williams,
cocaine.
Yeah, that too. Chris Williams is saying Christian Cage wins and Jack Perry is written off to star in a reboot of 90210. R.I.P. to Luke Perry. I grew up on those shows. Chris is saying.
Right on.
Will says, I think when Tony thought Sasha Banks was going to be a free agent, that he would have got her to beat Jade.
So I remember we kept talking about Britt Baker and we're like, okay, well, like who else would beat her? Who else would beat her? And I always thought it would take somebody like Sasha or Charlotte, like a huge name to take somebody like Britt Baker down. I think the same thing with Jade. I don't know who. And now that there really is no huge name like as a free agent, I think she's either got to hold on to it or she just gives it up.
Yeah. Bogus saying Christian Cage is there to make young guys stars, put over Jack. And it sounds like Martin's in agreement. He has Jungle Boy to get his win to have a feel-good moment
I agree.
at All Out. So there's that match. We still got a few more. We could probably go over this one quickly because I think it's going to be a clean sweep. And we're approaching, we are at the hour mark already. We have the Tag Team Championship match, Swerve in Our Glory, which is Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, taking on the Acclaimed, which is awesome to see the Acclaimed getting a title opportunity. They definitely deserve to be getting more opportunities at the belt. It's just probably a little too soon in the run of Swerve in Our Glory. I'm not a huge fan of Lee and Swerve together. I think they're better off as single stars, but I don't believe that the Acclaimed are going to get the victory here. Maybe the Gun Club gets involved of sorts and kind of distracts the Acclaimed. So I'll go with Lee and Swerve here, Erica.
I'm taking the Acclaim because I won't root against them, and I hope that it is their time.
Whoa!
I agree once you said that.
Listen.
You saw me, Jeff.
Let's go.
You got it. Like, I don't know. Didn't mean to say that. Swerve in Our Glory, let them turn on each other, and now you two could have, All I know is I'm bringing like 5 shirts to watch this because I want my Acclaim shirt, I want my FTR shirt.
I want that jersey, by the way. I want that Acclaim.
I want that jersey also, by the way.
That'd be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love the Acclaimed, I'm going with Swerve in Our Glory. However, I actually wouldn't be surprised if Acclaim wins. This was actually really hard. This was a hard choice for me because the Acclaimed are as hot as they're probably ever going to get, in my opinion. But and also, if Swerve in Our Glory loses, that could break them up into a singles competitor. But it's hard. I'm going with Swerve in Our Glory to retain. I don't think they're going to lose it to the Acclaimed.
No, and I do think the Acclaimed eventually will get a title run. I just don't think it's quite yet.
No, not against these guys.
No, they're trying to build something there with a Swerve in Our Glory. So let's go to the Trios Tournament Finals. We know the Elite will be taking on the winner of the Dark Order and the Best Friends. I'm assuming the Dark Order is going to win. Ian, do you think the Dark Order is going to win with Hangman?
Yes, Dark Order is definitely going to win. It is literally long-term storytelling as we've always seen with the Elite, with Hangman going against his fellow competitors and the Elite.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful story. That has been the best story of AEW ever. All Elite Wrestling. It makes sense. I have the Elite going over and winning the Trios Championship, becoming the first Trios champ, which is weird because with that happening, I don't understand where they're going to take Hangman. I don't know if he's going to break up with the Dark Order and where they're going to go with the Dark Order. But I have the Elite winning for now. I am excited to see what happens in the future.
Assuming Dark Order defeats the Best Friends tomorrow night on Rampage, it makes for a very intriguing story, like you're saying, because Hangman and the Young Bucks are kind of friendly again, or at least they're trying to mend what they once had. You've seen it on Dynamite. So that's a wrinkle into this potential match that's going to be interesting to see, because what if Hangman sides with the Elite and turns on the Dark Order, or vice versa? Maybe he end up costing the Elite the match and he interferes somehow. I don't know why I'm getting a phone call in the middle of a podcast right now. Sorry, it's distracting me. I'm going to put it down.
Who is it?
It's my group chat. I don't know why they're doing a FaceTime right now. It's very weird. Sorry about that, but I said on Steve's show, I'm going to say it again here. I think the trios titles were tailor-made for the Elite. They are the true team in AEW, the true trios team in AEW, the foundation of all Elite Wrestling. It would be a good story for the Dark Order because they haven't won gold outside of Brody Lee when he was TNT champion. I think they could use the belts more than the Elite, but we have a more cohesive unit over there, more established group with the Elite. So I'm going to go with them to win the trios tournament.
I have nothing else to add. I'm also taking the Elite. And like you said, I think that the trios belts were made for the Elite. And especially now that Kenny's back, and I don't know, it's just all perfect timing. And I think they've got to take it. And I would love to see something like Hangman turning on the Dark Order and going that way with it. But I definitely think it's the Elite.
Yeah, there are a lot of layers to it, like Martin's saying. So if Kenny comes up short against Hangman with the Young Bucks, it can lead to more storytelling with various elements down the road. Yeah, and that's obviously why I think the Dark Order is going to be the ones in this match. I don't think there's any chance the Best Friends win tomorrow night, but it is going to be an interesting one to watch because I think you can make a good case for both sides, but all of us are going with the Elite, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And my mom was in the chat, so hello to my mom.
I know, I already said hi to Donna.
I know, I heard you, but we were in the middle of talking about some matches. So she only pops in to say hello, and then she's out of here. So we got 3 more matches here. This one, the AEW Interim Women's Championship match. Obviously, Thunder Rosa had to relinquish her title. So we're having another interim champion. This one, Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Shida. Erica, ladies first. We do have a women's championship match here, so I'll let you go first.
Shida and Jamie Hayter. I don't know. I think
Drink.
Britt Baker is
shit.
I think Britt Baker would be a great interim champion just because she was such an entertaining and great, solid, normal champion. But you have the Jamie Hayter factor, and have we been waiting for them to like pit against each other? Yeah. Okay. So then is it Toni Storm? Is it Shida? Why doesn't somebody else go first and tell me all of your thoughts, and then I can make my decision?
No, I think you started off pretty well. I think you should make your thoughts.
You actually were getting somewhere there. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I wasn't. Not at all. There was a brick wall.
No, you have made a good point with Jamie and Britt. Maybe this is where you start that fallout and Jamie pins Britt to win.
Just maybe.
You don't think that the two of them like hit against each other and it's like, and it's like outside of the ring, and now it's like Toni and Shida in the ring, and one of them wins?
I don't think that's going to happen in the middle of the match. No.
Bogus. If Shida wins, I might walk out of the stadium.
Yeah, he threatened to boycott AEW for a couple months.
True.
Yeah, he's a true hater, that's for sure. Not a Jamie hater, but
also a Jamie hater. You know what? I like that. I hadn't thought of it, so thank you for letting me cheat. I get one every prediction show. I like that. I'm going to go with that. Give me Jamie Hayter as your interim championship. Wow. Let that fuel Britt Baker's fire. What? Ian.
I think it's actually a legitimate shot.
And now when she goes to defend it or whatever, there's always going to be the Britt Baker factor, and then she can turn, and that starts that whole thing. I'm going Jamie Hayter.
I can't believe you just fell for bogus in that. That is that's tough. It is going to be Toni Storm winning in the title. I don't see how this one is one of the easiest ones I picked. It's a 4-way. You have 2 people on the same little faction. I don't think the breakup's going to happen, but I think this is what's going to ignite the breakup between Hayter and Britt Baker. Shida is a filler. We all know Shida.
She's there to eat the pinfall.
Correct. And I think Toni Storm is going to win that. I do think there is going to be a little hint at a spark on a breakup between Hayter and Britt Baker during this match, and it's going to give Toni Storm the chance to win the title. Toni Storm is winning the title. I don't see how that is obvious in this one.
Chris Williams says Jamie wins, and then Britt is proud but not proud, and be mad at her on Dynamite like what Triple H did to Orton when he won the world title belt. Okay, a celebration for Dynamite. I get what he's saying there, Chris. All right, that's an interesting take. It's between three people. It's between Hayter, Britt, and Tony, and I think you can make a legitimate case for all three women. Hayter pinning Britt Baker just to have that story going on. Britt Baker, probably the greatest women's champion that AEW has ever had.
Ooh, wait.
If you put the title on her, you can't go wrong, and you can revisit the Thunder Rosa feud with Britt. What do you want now?
Can I change my pick and we'll alter it?
No.
How many fucking
I
times
want
are
to
you going to
change my
change your
I
pick?
want to change my pick. Go ahead, finish what you're saying. I'm changing my pick.
My 21st birthday wish is for her to not change her pick.
That is not true.
What are you changing it to?
I'm changing it to Britt Baker. I'm going to tell you that Jamie Hayter gets the pin, Britt Baker pulls her off and gets the pin, and that's where the foundation cracks.
Okay, the doctor will see you now. You're going with Britt Baker.
Yeah.
That's actually a good call.
I'm going with Ian's selection, Tony Storm, because the story was kind of already there with Thunder Rosa, and when Thunder Rosa comes back, it'll be like, we were friends, and now you're holding the title that I have. Now let's fight over it. You know, it makes sense. And Tony Storm,
it's boring in comparison to what
it is boring. I agree. The most boring decision in this match is to go with Tony Storm, but I think it also is exciting because Tony Storm never got to win big gold in WWE, and a lot of people always thought she deserved that spot. So maybe this is her time to shine and to prove to people that she's legit and she can be the interim AEW Women's Champion. Let's run to the comments here. Vogue is saying, remember Riho?
That was something.
That was something. And Martin is also going with Tony Storm just for the friendly competition her and Rosa will have. Yep. So Erica is going with Britt Baker now, and Ian and I are going with Tony Storm.
I cannot wait until I win.
I hope it's Jamie Hayter, honestly.
That would be nice. I wouldn't be against it.
If you had to tell me what I want in this match, it's Jamie Hayter. That's the one I want.
It would be cool if it happened the way I first said it, or the way you first said it. But
no, I think they're both. Yeah, so you can change your pick, Jeff. It's okay, and you can also insert your picks on social media. Make sure you're following us at Pod on the Mark. We have Google Forms out there for Clash at the Castle and for All Out, so you can win our championships here for OTM if you participate with those Google Forms. We got two more matches, though, here at AEW All Out. This one, the Lion Tamer taking on the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. This is going to be a great match, but I think the big story here, obviously, is Daniel Garcia. Which way is he going to lean? I think the obvious choice is for Daniel Garcia to cost Jericho and end up joining the Blackpool Combat Club, and then we go on from there. So that's what I'm going to go with. It seems like the obvious pick, but it's what I want to see, and I think it's what most people want to see. So I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson to get the win here.
Roger that.
That's all you got?
Exactly, because it's exactly my logic and want and thought.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the 7-year-old mind of Tony Khan. It's an obvious pick, so you're going to choose it. It's going to get the crowd hyped up. It's going to be really fun to watch. Yeah. Danielson,
Think it opens the show?
No, I wouldn't say that.
You know what? Also, it depends. I noticed something was going down because I'm like, Daniel Garcia is growing his beard in. He was always clean shaven. Then he grew his beard in. Then it became the whole thing, and he still has got that beard. So I feel like also everybody in not Claudio, but I don't know. I feel like that's just the sign of a change.
Yeah, but sports entertainers have beards too, you know.
Yeah, but they don't go from freshly shaven to getting your beard back. So
what about freshly squeezed?
I can get down with that.
Right on. You're going with Bryan Danielson then?
Yes.
So is Ian. All right. Good question here from Vogus. Will Danielson ever get a world title run in AEW?
Boy, I hope so. But I also don't think.
I don't think he will.
I think he will, but he won't win it. He doesn't need to win it.
Wait, what?
He doesn't want to
you're saying he's asking if he'll get a run.
Yeah.
Oh,
no. Then no.
No, I don't.
World title run. I think that he doesn't necessarily care if he does either.
No,
which I think is noble in itself. He's just there to do what he's doing and
he's there to wrestle a different style he couldn't wrestle in WWE and have matches with people he couldn't have in WWE.
He's having fun with it too.
Yeah, he's not trying to stack up championships and be a belt collector. I think he's there for the better of himself and the business. Yeah.
Yep.
So we got another main event here to talk about. The last match that we found out was official. We got Jon Moxley, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, taking on CM Punk in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. The atmosphere is going to be electric for this one. Obviously, we know the story. Moxley won in 3 minutes a couple weeks ago on Dynamite to become the official champion. CM Punk has Ace Spade, I think his name is, signed the contract for him to have this match as trainer. And they had a very good promo on last night's Dynamite to lead us here to the main event of All Out. Erica, I'll let you go first. What are we thinking here for the main event?
I have to say, maybe bogus plug your ears, but first of all, Kyle, you're aware, I was not into that Chicago crowd last night.
I don't know what Erica was like. Erica's like, is that crowd bad? I go, no, I thought the crowd was into it.
No, and Mike said the same thing you did, and the ladies like this crowd sucks. I'm like, I told you. Like,
coming from you two that just sit on your hands at wrestling events.
Fuck you, that's not true.
Oh boy.
Oh, I got Erica mad.
You saw me at Forbidden Door.
I just want to get her red.
Don't, because I already don't have Central Air right now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. My bad.
It's okay, I'm cool. I thought, I don't know. And the more I think of it, like, if Punk wins, he can't, I don't understand this whole thing. What was the point of taking it off of him just to have him take it
I think the point
back?
was to eventually take it back in front of his home crowd, yeah.
Then you didn't need to win it when you won it, did you?
No.
Can I just go? Because you guys are it's CM Punk winning this in front of a Chicago crowd. That's all this was. It was to build this up, make it a great reaction, and that's all you need. It's Summer of Punk still. He wins a title, ends off the summer.
Well, it's more like the fall of Punk if he were to win.
Ayo.
Okay.
It's spooky season, bitch.
Yeah, a fall being the season, not like a collapse, Ian. That's what I'm talking about. Fall being season.
Okay.
Autumn.
Right.
I don't know. Do you say autumn? I say fall.
I say fall. Yeah. CM Punk wins the title.
Erica, do you agree?
I don't. I think I want Mox to beat his ass, especially.
That's what you want, though.
And I'm going to go with it because I got nothing to lose.
Okay.
Except
all right, but what does CM Punk do if he loses? Is he retiring or
cry and then go stick your foot in a sling?
Yeah,
and heal.
he's done. Why would he? If he loses, why would he come back?
I don't know. I don't
exactly.
That's why I don't think he loses.
Okay.
No, don't change.
Okay.
You had one change already.
I stay with Mox. However, I'm going to double down on what I said before about the Casino Royale, whatever. With MJF coming to interrupt. So maybe Punk wins, but it's like by DQ, or maybe Mox wins and it's by DQ, and MJF inserts himself into that picture somehow, some way.
I'd like to see MJF get involved.
And it's that.
I'd like to see MJF
no
at
bogus?
any point this night.
Let's not jump comments here. We'll get to one comment at a time. Let's go to Elijah Washington. He goes, Moxley wins, Crybaby Punk can go. That seems to be a common opinion that I'm saying. People are tired of the shenanigans of CM Punk. We got Nathan chiming in. He says CM Punk wins, and then the Good Brothers show up and attack Moxley and Punk, turn heel, and Serena Deeb is back, and we get Straight Edge Society 2.0.
Maybe so.
That's some great fantasy booking, though. I'm not going to lie. That's good stuff. And our buddy Mayor of Canton chiming in.
Aww.
He says, hey, everyone. I'm so confused by the booking of this feud and think they just end up keeping it on Moxley. Yeah, I think we all are confused because you don't you don't know what the truth is, what's kayfabe, what's a shoot, the rumors going on backstage. I don't know, but it's CM Punk, like Ian said, in Chicago, Illinois. And if he loses, there's nothing else he can do. If he loses to Moxley, his credibility's gone. Nobody gives a fuck about CM Punk if he loses to John Moxley here. He needs to win. He needs to turn heel. He can't turn heel necessarily in Chicago because no matter what, everybody's going to cheer for CM Punk, no matter what he does. But you can still plant the seeds for CM Punk becoming a heel.
Uh-oh.
Okay, good. It's not just me, you see? Now he's going to say that I'm frozen. Kyle's lost in the ether. Bye, Kyle. Anyway, whatever he was spewing.
So he's going with CM Punk winning, which is
he's going with CM Punk winning. But don't you think there's something to be said about the fact that he said he said nobody gives a crap about Punk if he loses to Moxley here? They should still, because people would still give a crap about Mox if he lost to Punk. Pretend they weren't in Chicago. They're in Orlando. People still would.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I just don't understand what the future of CM Punk would be if he loses. There's
I don't
no
know.
way he can lose. He could hold this title just for this night and then lose on his first defense. That is fine. I think that is better booking than CM Punk losing if you want to keep CM Punk in this company.
You don't think there's interference? I don't think it's a clean win. I'd like to think there's some sort of interference with whoever wins the Battle Royal.
I don't think there's going to be interference during the match. I think it's going to be after the match, and that's when you see who this next guy up is.
Not me. I think it's
Or
MJF isn't the Joker, and he just comes back to fuck up Punk in this match.
I will say, yeah, if MJF wins the ladder match, the casino match, I would see him coming in. But I don't think he's even going to be in the building at the time.
Randy Sam, that popped me. The hacker gimmick is back. Mustafa Ali. Oh, everybody got a little kick out of me getting.
Could be.
Sometimes it switches to regular Wi-Fi, and we know how that goes, right, Erica?
Yes, we do. You always
It's not great. It's not the Ethernet. Did you already refer to this comment from Bogus?
No, I think I probably started to.
Bogus said, John Moxley doesn't have good matches. He just bleeds. Thoughts?
Coming from Ryan Bogus, it means nothing.
He does bleed a lot.
Fair enough.
He just hates for haters' sake.
Yeah, I think John Moxley has solid matches. Isaac tuning in.
He does bleed a lot.
What's going on, Isaac? How you doing?
Oh, hey, Isaac.
We're at the end of our stream here, which
Sweet, profile pic.
Not true. We have the House of Black match still. We didn't cover it.
Oh, fuck. I knew I forgot something.
What is that?
It was
House of Black versus Darby, Sting, and I'm forgetting someone. Ian, who is it?
God's champion.
Yeah, the Redeemer.
The Redeemer.
So strange.
Let's make it quick because I totally forgot. I'm going with House of Black because they need some momentum. And Darby and Sting, their time is up. I think Sting might,
But Miro just coming back?
Yes. Miro's not going to be the one that gets the pinfall or taps out. He's just not going to be involved in the finish.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I guess I'll say House of Black too.
So I got the House of Black.
I'm not. I'm saying Miro, Sting, and Darby.
Whoa, wow.
Okay.
Who cares?
This is yours to lose. I'm going, it's House of Black.
I just picture Renee waiting at the house with a case of Band-Aids, like, not again. Yeah.
It's true.
Every single match. Every single time. So, yeah, then that would make every match then, Ian, correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's another trios match that is kind of confusing, like Martin's saying, especially with Darby being with Miro. Yeah, the pairing doesn't make much sense, but I think Miro is acting as a face right now, but he won't be involved in the finish. He can't afford to take the loss here in this match, but I do think it's going to be a win for the House of Black because they need a credible win.
They do.
They really haven't gotten it because eventually I think they could take those trios titles from the Elite. So that concludes this week's episode. Of course, at the end of every podcast, except for the ones I'm not on because Erica and Tuck forget, we award the MVM, aka the most valuable mark of OTM. And what that is, it's a person that is commenting the most, giving the most quality comments. You could be making us laugh. You can be making us think, just asking good questions during the entire episode. And we had a lot of interaction this week, and a lot of it came from SCW, the wrestling channel. So once again, shout out to Steve, but the interim MVM is come to an end. I'm sorry, but we got to go back to our roots. The OG, the pinnacle of the MVMs, and new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Ryan Vogus.
That's my king.
You're his king.
We're both kings.
I'm never pleased with his Vogus.
He says he doesn't want it.
I don't want it. Oh.
Does that mean you're
Who
relinquishing
wants an unappreciative champ? Yeah, I'm relinquishing. No, Mr. Vogus.
Yeah, wait, why are you cheering for your son? He doesn't appreciate this podcast.
He cheered before he knew that. He's a supportive dad. However, your son is a brat and does not appreciate what is given to him. So.
He is the MVM. Unless he wants to relinquish it, I can give it away.
Relinquish it, Vogus.
Just as fast as I can give it away,
Mr. Vogus said I'll take it.
All right, I will give it to Dirk Vogus if Ryan Vogus, his son, hands it over to his father.
Bloodline.
I I need to see it in the comments. The passing of the torch, the man that brought you into this world, Ryan. You can hand him that MVM right now. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes!
And
new.
new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Wait, why is it still showing Ryan Bogus? I put Dirk Bogus in there. There it is.
You got it. There
Dirk
it is.
Bogus.
Yay! Congratulations.
I love it.
Honestly, well deserved too.
Yeah.
If I might say.
There is someone that will appreciate being the most valuable mark there. A man that tunes in every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. Congratulations, Dirk Bogus. You are the MVM for episode 110. And what an episode it was. We almost went an hour and a half. We talked about 2 pay-per-views happening this weekend. We are going all out in Hoffman Estates for Ian's 21st birthday. Ian, happy birthday once again to you.
Yes.
Any final comments as we roll into this exciting weekend?
Crazy.
I am so excited for this weekend. I can't put it into words how excited I am. We get to see Tillema in action in a wrestling ring, friend of the pod, and I'm excited for that. Excited for Saturday. It's going to be a chill day, but we're still going to see a wrestling event in person. And then we have All Out Sunday, which is also going to be great. A lot of alcohol going to be consumed, but I'm excited. Thank you guys.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us on your 21st birthday. It's pretty crazy that you decided to sit and chat with a couple marks for an hour and a half, but we appreciate it. And don't forget, check out the website on the markwrestlingpodcast.com. Use promo code ALLOUT, no spaces in that, all undercase. You will save 15% off of your order this weekend. Go ahead and get yourself some merch and support the podcast. Erica, another episode in the books. Any final thoughts going into an exciting weekend of wrestling?
Not a thought in my brain.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Hey, Erica, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for, having me.
You know,
what a fun weekend it's going to be, and I can't wait.
It's your own podcast. Why are you thanking him?
Because
thanks for...
Martin, thanks for stopping by. You got to hear my voice for 3 hours today, so I'm sorry.
Poor Martin.
In advance, for having...
Purple heart.
Yes, he does. But to quote our co-host, Jim Tucker, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.